Okay, so we're going to do our word problems. The first one is A. Okay, when you're dealing with math and word problems, you kind of want to make sure you're underlining important things. Now, this is math, so we kind of want to underline important math things, such as numbers. Any word that could mean add, subtract, multiply, divide, any operation that we might use, okay? So we can see what it's talking about. So we're going to do that. I'm going to underline important things. Your rectangular TV, is rectangle a math word? Yes, it is. Let's underline that. Measures 14 inches in length. That's math because it's numbers. By 8 inches in width. Another math thing. You want to increase. Increase is another math word. What operation would increase mean? Yes. Add. Increase means we're adding. Okay. We're going to add to the length and the width by the same amount. And then again, there's that increase again. Increase the original area by 168 square inches. So we're adding 168. Okay, and then we want to circle or highlight. I'll highlight. What must you increase the length and width by? You always want to highlight the question or circle the question, somehow make it so you remember the question. Because a lot of times in math, when you solve a problem, that's a word problem, you'll give me an answer, but it doesn't answer the question I'm asking. You give me some other number that might help me get there, but doesn't actually answer the question. Okay, so here I'm gonna ask you a few different things, and you're gonna give me the information here. So first thing is, it asks us for the original dimensions. And my original dimensions are the 14 by 8. The original area then, if we remember, area equals length times width. So area is going to equal 14 times 8, which gives me 112 inches squared. Okay, now to find the new dimensions, I want to draw a picture. So here's my original TV. Apparently I have a red TV. That's okay. It currently is 14 by 8. But I want to increase, so I want to add some more length here and add some more width here to get my TV a little bit bigger. I don't know how much I'm adding to both, but I do know it's the same amount. So if it's the same, they both need to be my X. I'm adding that same amount to both sides, and that's my unknown, my X. And it was increasing, so I'm adding here and adding here. Any questions over that? So my new dimensions now are the X plus 8 and the X plus 14. Okay, my new area is the original area plus the increase. So my original area was 112. And what am I increasing the area by? Very good. I'm increasing by 168 square inches. To get a total of 280, yes. Any questions over that? All good. Okay, so now we're going to actually solve our problem. So I have my area, x plus 8 times x plus 14 is going to equal my new area of 280. And that was my length times my width equals the new area. Any questions over that? Sounds good. Okay, we have to solve it from there. Okay, in order to be able to continue on, we need to multiply this out. So I draw my box to find the area, x plus 8 and x plus 14. So this is x squared, this is 8x, this is 14x, and this is 112. That's going to give me x squared, plus I'm going to combine my like terms. 8 and 14 is 22 x's, plus 112, and it still equals 280. Any questions over that? Now I got to solve this. I can't have it equal to anything other than 0 because it's quadratic. So I need to move the 280 over. So I'm going to get x squared plus 22x minus 168 equals 0. Any questions over that? Okay, so we can now either factor this or use the quadratic formula. What would you guys like to do? Factor or quadratic formula? Oh, I heard quadratic. I heard some factors. I'm going to tell you factoring is going to be easier. You can do the quadratic formula and it will work, but factoring is going to be easier. So let's try and factor this. I already know this factors because I've done this problem a couple times now. So this is 22x and then negative 168. So this is x and x. I need to what multiplies to 168. 6 and what? 6 times 28? That actually works, right? So when I try 6 and 28 and see if that works, this is 6x, this is 28x. If I subtract them, do I get 22? Yes, I do. Which one needs to be negative? The 6 or the 28? 6 is negative and the 28 is positive. Okay. So from there, I have my factors. X plus 28 equals 0. And then x minus 6 equals 0. So this gives me x equals negative 28. This gives me x equals 6. Okay, let's go back and see what our question was to make sure I've answered that. What must you increase the length by? Okay, I'm increasing the length by X. So did I find X? Okay, did I find X? Do both answers work in this case? No, they don't. If I increase by -28, is that actually an increase? No. So technically, although this is an answer, it's not what I'm looking for because it doesn't apply to the problem. It doesn't show an increase of my length. So my answer is this. This is not an increase. So we don't use that one. Okay, so we have to analyze our answers too at the end. Any questions over that? Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, you guys read through it and underline what you think is important. Okay, Hibba, what's something you underlined? The what? Rectangle. Okay, we have another rectangular. Alyssa, what's something you underlined? Okay, my dimensions. Good. Chloe, what's something you underlined? What? Same amount. Increased. We should probably do the whole thing. Increased by the same amount. So we know it's not like decreased or multiplied by the same amount. Okay. Jacob M. What did you underline? There's one more thing. We already got that underlined. Very good. We should know the area of the new projection screen will be 56 square feet. And what are they asking us for, class? Very good. Highlight that. Find the dimensions of the new projection screen. Okay, so our original dimensions are 5 by 4. The original area then is 5 times 4, which is 20. Now we're going to draw our picture to find the new dimensions. I'm going to draw my screen. And it is 5 by 4. And then I want to increase them both by the same amount. I don't know the amount, so it's my X. To make my projector nice and big. So my new dimensions then are X plus 5 and then X plus 4. The new area is back over here. They want the new screen projection screen to be 56 square feet. So this time I don't have to add anything. I just want the total now to be 56 feet squared. In the original one, they wanted us to increase the area by 168. So we had to add them. This one, they just gave it to me. I just want the area to be 56 square feet. Any questions over that? Okay. So now our equation, we have our new length. Let's try that again. Our new length times our new width, and it should equal our new area. So just like before, we have to multiply it out. Length of my sides are x plus 5 and x plus 4. This is x squared. This is 5x's, 4x's, and this is 20. So I have x squared plus, combine like terms, 9x plus 20, and it still equals 56. Now what do I need to do? Very good. I need it equal to 0, so I subtract the 56. And I get x squared plus 9x. Oopsie, not plus. 56 is bigger. So it's minus 36. And now it equals 0. Okay, can you guys factor that for me? Factor and solve from there. Okay, anyone find the factors for me? Sebastian, what'd you get?
I got x equals 3 and x equals negative 12.
Those are our answers. Let's get our factors first.
It said negative 3 and 12.
Very good. That will give me negative 3x and positive 12x. If I subtract them, I'll get the 9. We're good. Okay, so then we have x minus 3 equals 0. And then x plus 12 equals 0. Add the 3. And I get x equals 3. Subtract the 12. And I get x equals negative 12. Okay, what did they ask me for though? Let's go back up here. Find the dimensions. Are 3 and negative 12 the dimensions? They are what I increased it by. And did I increase it by negative 12? That doesn't make sense, right? Again, this one shouldn't be an answer because that's not an increase. What would my new dimensions be if I increase them both by 3? What? 8 and 7. The length would be the 4 plus the 3 to get the 7, and then the width would be the 5 plus the 3 to get the 8. And these are feet. That is my answer now. We have to take this and plug it back in to find the new dimensions. Any questions over that? Okay, next one. Okay, suppose you're gonna toss an apple up to a friend in a third-story balcony. After t seconds, the height of the apple in feet is given by that wonderful function. H of t equals negative 16 times the quantity of t minus 1.2, the whole thing squared, plus 24. Your friend catches the apple as it reaches its highest point. This equation is important. The highest point is important, and t seconds is important. How long, okay, that's how is a question. How long does the apple take to reach your friend? And at what height does it reach your friend? That's what it's asking. Now, we need to ask ourselves, what are we looking for? The highest point, right? Because that's where it's going to reach my friend, and what height. That will give me the time and the height, which is what I'm looking for, okay? So what key feature of a quadratic function will give me the highest point? Anyone know? Key feature. Is it the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, the vertex, what is it going to be? The vertex, right? The vertex is the highest point on your graph, or it could be the lowest point. So whenever you see highest point, maximum, minimum, lowest point, you should be thinking vertex. And so this is what it's saying, vertex. Now, I was really kind to you because I gave this to you in vertex form. So what is the vertex here? (1.2) and 24. Remember this, you change the sign. It comes from right here and right here. That's the vertex. Now, what does that mean? We still need to answer the question, how long does the apple take to reach your friend? And at what height does it reach your friend? So let's think about this. I'm going to throw my apple up. Let's draw a picture. I'm going to draw a balcony on the 3-story building. And here's the balcony. And here's my friend standing up on top of it. And he really wants an apple. And I'm down here. And so I throw him an apple. Okay. It's a red apple because I like red apples. You can make yours green, that's fine. Okay, so I'm throwing in the apple. So which is the height and which is the time? The height is the y value and the time is the x. So it takes the apple 1.2 seconds to reach my friend who is 24 feet above me. And that's exactly what that vertex means. This is the time, this is the height. Any questions over that? Okay, on the back. We're going to skip D for now. We're going to come back to it in just a second. I want to do this one next because it's kind of applies to what we just did. Okay, E. The height of a field goal kick football can be modeled by the quadratic function. Another wonderful, fun equation. The horizontal distance in feet from the point of impact with the kicker's foot is X. X is horizontal distance. And H is the height of the ball in feet. Oh, and I was really kind and I gave it to you in vertex form as well. Any questions over that? So now that first question is, what is the maximum height? When I see maximum height, what should I think? Vertex. Okay, and again, I gave it to you in vertex form. So what would tell me the height in that vertex? Very good. The X represents what we just told you, the horizontal distance. The H is the height of the ball in feet. So we want the height, which is the H value. So 36.81 feet. Any questions over that? Okay, then it tells me that the nearest defensive player is 5 feet horizontally from me. Okay, so that's a distance horizontally. So is that your X value or is that your H value? X. So they just told me that X equals 5. How high must the player reach to block the kick? So at 5 feet away, what's the height of that ball, basically? So X is 5. Find the height. Any questions over that? We're going to plug it in. We can use either one of these equations. You can use vertex form or standard form. I think standard form is a little easier, so I'm going to plug it into standard form. But you are going to want a calculator. So if you have a calculator, get that out. If you don't have a calculator, bring one, please. So I'm going to have h equals negative 0.01 times 5 squared plus 1.18 times 5, and then plus 2. Okay, order of operations. You square the 5 first. So that's times 25. Then you need to multiply that together. And that gives me plus 5.9 plus 2. Now I'm going to multiply this together. Get negative 0.25 plus, I'm going to add these two together. Then I'm going to subtract those two, and I'm going to get h equals 5 point, not 5. Ooh. Let's try that again, because I clearly put that on my calculator wrong. That gives me 7.65. So if I'm a football player, can I theoretically reach up to about 7.65 feet? Probably. Maybe I can't, but most football players could. Okay. Any questions? Okay, the next one. The goalpost is 36 yards away. Again, is that my x value or my h value? X, it's distance away, so that is x again. So x equals 36 yards. And the crossbeam is 10 feet high. Will the ball have enough height to clear the crossbeam? Explain. Let's remember though, make sure you can convert the yards into feet because my equation is based on feet. So how many yards are in a foot? Other way around. How many feet are in a yard? How many feet are a yard? 3 feet. Good. Okay. So we do 36 times 3. I'll do that. 3 feet equals 1 yard. Just in case you didn't know. If you don't know that, Google that, you guys. Like if you get a question at home and it has you converting, just Google it. 36 times 3 was 108. Okay, so this is what we need to use. Okay, so see how high the ball is going to be when that ball is 108 feet away. Will it get over the crossbeam? Everyone try it on their own or in their pairs. So we should have our height equals negative 0.01 times 108 squared. I know so lots of us don't have calculators with us. Should always have a calculator for math. Okay. So we have to square 108 first. So we're going to have our height equals negative 0.01 times 11664 plus 127.44 plus 2. Okay, I'm going to multiply these together, and I'm going to get negative 11664 116.64 plus, I'm going to combine these two and get 129.44. So my height is 12.8 feet. Okay, so will the ball go over the crossbeam? Yes, the crossbeam is 10 feet high and my ball should be at 12.8 feet. So we're going to answer and explain. Because it's at a height of 12.8 feet. Which is greater than 10 feet. Any questions over that? Okay, let's go back to this one. Okay, the model of a daily profit, P of G, of a gas station based in their price per gallon G, is P of G equals negative 15,000 G squared plus 34,500 G minus 16,800 G. Can a gas station make $4,000 in profit a day? If so, how many gallons of gas would the gas station need to sell a day? So this time, instead of giving you the X value, the distance, they're not giving you the gallons, the number of gallons, they're giving you your total profit for the day. So they're telling you that P of G equals 4,000. Find G. Any questions over that? Okay, so I'm going to plug in 4,000 into my equations. Okay, this is a quadratic equation. So to solve this, I need it to be equal to 0. So I have to subtract that 4,000. So I get 0 equals negative 15,000 G squared plus 34,500 G minus 20,800. Copy it down, please. Okay, these numbers are crazy, right? They're kind of big. Let's make them a little smaller. Let's divide them all by 1,000. Okay, I can factor the GCF, which is basically what I'm doing. I'm dividing everything by 1,000. So this is going to give me negative. When I divide by 1,000, I just move my decimal over 3 times. So negative 15G squared here. Here I move my decimal over 3 times, and I get plus 34.5G. Here I move my decimal over 3 times, and I get minus 20.8. Okay, now we can try and factor this to solve it, or we can use the quadratic formula. Now, I'm not going to be a good factor of 20.8. So I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So my A value is negative 15. My B value is 34.5. And my C value is negative 20.8. And I plug it into x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Super amazing, right? Okay, plug it in. So I have negative 34.5 plus or minus the square root of 34.5 squared minus 4 times negative 15 times negative 20.8 all over 2 times negative 15. Copy down if you haven't already. Okay, I'm going to move this up here. So that's going to give me negative 34.5 plus or minus the square root of some big numbers. This is 1190.25. Okay, let's check. Is that a negative or a positive? 3 negatives stay negative. So this is 1248 all over negative 30. So this gives me negative 34.5 plus or minus the square root of negative 57.75 all over negative 30.